Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Pitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanispari Visabhano Sudedevi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. We continue from text 8 to 12 and part of the purport, which is in my book, Bhagavad Gita. It's from last paragraph of 576 till the second last paragraph of 577, page 577. So we'll read one time this verse. There are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 verses. Amanitvam adambitvam Ahimsam shantir arjavam Acharya pasanam socham Staryam atma vinigraha Indriyarteshu vairagyam Anahankara evacha Janma mityu jara vyadhi Dukkha dosanudarshanam Asaktir anabhivasva Putra dara grihadishu Nityam cha samachitatvam Istanistot papatishu Mayi jananya yogena Bhaktir abhivacharini Vivikta desha sevitam Aratir jana samsadi Adhyatma jnana nityatvam Tattva jnanartha darshanam Etas jnanam iti proktam Ajnanam yad ato yata I'll read now the translation. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All this I declare to be knowledge. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Heavy dosage there. So, I'm going to read now for the purport, which we'll try to discuss today. On the bottom, last paragraph of my book, Bhagavad Gita edition. This one, 576. And the other edition is 652. In the middle. That means you have more Bhagavad Gita in there. That means maybe the printing. Printing is bigger. Yeah. Yes. It's the way they print, or the fonts. Some are bigger, some are smaller. So it goes like this. As for detachment from children, wife, and home, it is not meant that one should have no feeling for this. They are natural objects of affection. But when they are not favorable to spiritual progress, then one should not be attached to them. The best process for making the home pleasant is Krishna consciousness. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, he can make his home very happy. Because this process of Krishna consciousness is very easy. One need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and engage oneself in deity worship. These four things will make one happy. One should train the members of his family in this way. The family members can sit down morning and evening and chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If one can mold his family life in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, following these four principles, then there is no need to change from family life to renounced life. But if it is not congenial, not favorable for spiritual advancement, then family life should be abandoned. One must sacrifice everything to realize or serve Krishna, just as Arjuna did. Arjuna did not want to kill his family members, but when he understood that these family members were impediments to his Krishna realization, he accepted the instruction of Krishna and fought and killed them. In all cases, one should be detached from the happiness and distress of family life, because in this world one can never be fully happy or fully miserable. Happiness and distress are concomitant factors in material life. One should learn to tolerate, as advised in Bhagavad Gita. One can never restrict the coming and going of happiness and distress. So one should be detached from the materialistic way of life and be automatically equiposed in both cases. Generally, when we get something desirable, we are very happy. And when we get something undesirable, we are distressed. But if we are actually in the spiritual position, these things will not agitate us. To reach that stage, we have to practice unbreakable devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna without deviation means engaging oneself in the 9 processes of devotional service: chanting, hearing, worshipping, offering, respect, etc., as described in the last verse of the 9th chapter. That process should be followed. You stop there, right? No, what more? Okay, naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he will not want to mix with materialistic men. That would go against his grain. One may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place without unwanted association. Naturally, a devotee has no taste for unnecessary sporting or cinema going or enjoying some social function, because he understands that these are simply a waste of time. There are many research scholars and philosophers who study sex life or some other subject. But according to Bhagavad Gita, such research work and philosophical speculation have no value. That is more or less nonsensical. According to Bhagavad Gita, one should make research by philosophical discrimination into the nature of the soul. One should make research to understand the self. That is recommended here. That's as far as we go today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here is explaining how, from the purport, that it is natural to be affectionate towards the family members. Even in the animal form of life that is being exhibited by these different species other than human form of life. It's natural. They love their children, they love their brothers or sisters, they love their wife, they love their husband, because this is natural. There is emotions present within every living beings because of this being's spirit soul. Unlike robots or dead matters, they don't have any feelings. So it is explained that there are 2 kinds of bhaktas. There is what you call Grihastha Bhakta, and there is what you call Chagi Bhakta. Grihastha Bhaktas, that means they are not just having a house. This is what you call householders. They build a house, they live luxuriously, they eat what they want, and not so much spiritually inclined. They're not what you call grihastas. They're what you call the grihamedi. They're sense enjoyers. In the explanation of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Grihastha Bhaktas are very rare also, because not everyone would have Krishna as a center of their lives. Mostly everyone is in this materialistic pursuit. Mostly everyone would like to enjoy materially. Now a Grihastha is not like that. A Grihastha means they live having Krishna as a center of their life. Focus of their activities is Krishna. Everything that they do is ultimately for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna is the center of all their activities. So it is very rare to find a Griha Medi giving up the material comforts of being a householder and become renounced. Not so easy to find, very rare. And if you can find one, they don't come very easily as well. So in Krishna consciousness, means we follow the Vedic system whereby those who are in the householder life as part of the ashram, they are, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they're the best ashram in Kali Yuga because you learn a lot through experience. For the brahmacharis who is in that ashram, they are in this what you call the training or educating themselves. If they want to pursue Grihastha life, then it's up to them. And if they want to pursue, go to that ashram where one is completely renounced in the sannyas, it's also up to them. But it's not for everyone. Mostly in Kali Yuga, the population is in the householder life. But there is a danger of those who are in the householder ashram, Grihastha ashram, that to become too much detached, or too much attached to the family members. One should acknowledge that the wife actually are maidservants of Krishna, and the wife is sent by Krishna to help the husband in Krishna consciousness. And the children as well, they're not the property of the parents. They're also sent by Krishna. They belong to Krishna. So the proprietorship is not of the husband or the wife. The proprietorship ultimately belongs to Krishna. He is the ultimate proprietor. If I have a house, that belongs to Krishna. Whatever I have, it belongs to Krishna. The wife that I have, also sent by Krishna, or the husband that I have, also from Krishna. This is the proper mentality. And it says that one does not need to give up family life if they are all Krishna conscious, which is the duty of the husband to make the family in such a way that the environment of the house is fully Krishna conscious. If it is not, then big trouble. Trouble comes. One cannot live. A person who wants to become Krishna conscious, which is the duty of the husband to make the family become Krishna conscious, if there is some oppositions, then there's a problem. In Grihastha life, the husband has to be very strong, Krishna conscious wise. If the husband is not strong, then the wife should be strong, Krishna conscious wise. If both are not strong, then they all go to hell, the whole family. If the husband is strong and the woman is weak, Krishna conscious wise, that is good. If the husband is weak in Krishna consciousness and the wife is strong Krishna conscious wise, that is good also. And if both are strong in Krishna conscious wise, that is very, very good. That is ideal. But if both are weak, then it is not a grihastha life. It is grihamedi life. They will not be able to give Krishna consciousness to their children as well. If they are not Krishna conscious, how can you expect the children? But sometimes it may happen. If the children are Krishna conscious, they can also, possibility, will be able to bring their parents to become Krishna conscious. That's why it is good to have this Sunday school. We introduced that in ISKCON, whereby the children, they want to go to the temple on Sundays because they learn about Krishna conscious. And if the parents doesn't want to come, they don't have any choice. They have to bring the children to the temple, and therefore, by bringing the children to the temple, they don't have any excuse not to come to the temple. And they themselves will also learn and become devotees somehow because of their children. So this is good, but this is very rare. If they are exposed, if the children are exposed into Krishna consciousness, then there is a possibility also that the parents will become Krishna conscious. So the home has to be saturated with Krishna consciousness. In this way, one can have what you call home sweet home. Otherwise, it's not home sweet home. Being Krishna conscious, the family need only do 4 things. The Prabhupada says, need to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, everyone. Of course, it's always easy to convince young children. Sometimes you don't even have to convince them. They just follow in your example of being a Krishna conscious. Because when you bow down, automatically also they will bow down. Because they see the parents, oh, they're bowing down. There must be something into this. So they bow down also. You don't have to tell them, you bow down. When they offer obeisances to the Lord, they have deities. Especially having deities, even if one is not initiated, to have deities of Sisi Gornitai is very, very conducive because they are the savior. They are the Patita Pavana, savior of the fallen in the age of Kali. So one need only chant Hare Krishna, Maha Mantra, accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Just heard the other day in the class, Prabhupada was saying, to be a vegetarian and non-vegetarian, there is no difference. People are so proud to be vegetarians these days, or vegans. They don't eat any milk or milk products. They think they're better than non-veg eaters. But actually it's the same. Prabhupada says there is no difference. Only when you offer your foodstuffs to Krishna, whatever Krishna asks in the Bhagavad Gita, patram puspam talam toyam yome bhakya parachati. If one offers me with love and devotion a fruit, flower, a leaf, some water, I will accept it because it's been done with love and devotion. So in Grihastha life, one should offer Krishna foodstuffs before they eat. It's not that they will want to eat and they offer to Krishna what they want to eat. Sometimes it's like that, right? They have some favorite foodstuffs and they just want to eat this all the time. So they would cook this and they will offer to Krishna because they want to eat that kind of foodstuff. But there should be some varieties also. In this way, it doesn't become like sense enjoyment, because I say, oh, well, this is what I want, and therefore this is what I will cook. But in order to eat this, I should first offer to Krishna, because this is what I want. It's not like that. We should offer Krishna what he wants. So, accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is very ideal in order to have a happy Krishna-conscious family. One should discuss these subject matters, Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, because nowadays usually the parents will only see the children before going to work and after work, and during the day they'll be separated. They'll be having different things to do. So it's very conducive, especially if everybody sits together in the morning. There's a saying in English, family that prays together stays together. So if they read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Krishna book, reading Krishna book in the evening before going to sleep, more likely one will have dreams of Krishna. So how many are doing that nowadays? Every day. Very good. Well, for the Grihasthas, this is very, very essential to keep the children Krishna conscious, not lose touch of Krishna. Deity worship, one should engage oneself in deity worship. I've seen many times the children, they're doing the artik themselves. They're doing the dressing of the deities. You know, many places we go, I've seen them, they actually, you cannot have them not to do it. They will not let you do it yourself. They will fight with you. No, I have to do it. I gotta do it. I have to do it. So it's good. This kind of samskars, this kind of activities, right from the early stage that they're being trained up in this process. Deity worship, offering, they will do it. They know the mantras. Sometimes you should be amazed how they know the Nishinha prayers, even though they don't know how to read and write, but they know the Nishinha prayers already. They will do the artiks, because who knows? We don't know what's going to happen to them when they grow up, because they will have their own decision. At the time when they reach around 13 or 14 is the magic age. And then after that, we don't know what they're going to be choosing in their life, because that is what you call the rebellious, start becoming rebellious. That's why it says that at that time age, children should be you treat them like your friend instead of commanding them and telling them what to do or what not to do. So family members can sit down morning and evening and chant together Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And if one can mold his family life in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, there's no need for the husband to take sannyas. There's no such thing as like that, because ultimately the purpose of life is not to become sannyas. This is also a bodily designation. Ultimate purpose of human form of life is to become Krishna conscious. So it doesn't matter. Yes, yes. It is a purification. It is in a sense that this even Ramananda Roy he disregard this varnashram. This is still mundane. You can be in the Grihastha ashram and be more Krishna conscious than anybody else, because you can learn more. You can learn. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the Grihastha ashram, there's no such thing as falling down like a renunciate who is not able to follow his ashram, becoming a materialistic person again. It's like Vantasi, eating his own vomit. For a Grihastha, you may learn through your experience some mistakes. There's no such thing as you are becoming fallen down. You can still keep up. If a sannyasi has fallen down, then he still can continue, but he's not in the same stage anymore. Unlike a Grihastha, this is one of the advantages of the Grihastha ashram. But if it is not congenial or not favorable for a spiritual advancement, then family life should be abandoned. Prabhupada, he encouraged his disciples to write to their family. It's not that because, I joined the Hare Krishna movement, then there is no more connection with my family. As long as they are favorable, you try to cultivate them, but not force them to become Krishna conscious. And we cannot preach to our family members anyway. Usually, with the help of another devotee, they're the ones who can talk to the family. Unless they ask you directly, what is Krishna, who is Krishna, what is this spiritual life, then that's the only time we can tell them about Krishna consciousness. However, if they are so unfavorable that it will cause your spiritual life, then it's better to leave them alone. And we've heard this, some devotees, they have not have any contacts with their family for years and years and years. Only in the end, when the parents maybe are dying, and then they will remember the son or the daughter, and then they will call them, and then maybe ask for forgiveness to whatever they did to their sons or daughters. So it's better to keep distance with our family members if they are not favorable, if they become hindrance or obstacles for us to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, if they are neutral, sometimes they become proud of you being a devotee. I remember my father, he used to tell his friends, oh, this is my son, he's like a Buddhist. So he doesn't know what's the difference between Hare Krishna and Buddhist, because he saw me shaven head many times. So they get so much benefit if you become very sincere and follow strictly the process of devotional service. Even if they are not favorable in your Krishna consciousness, they still get benefit. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So it says here, Arjuna did not want to kill his family members, but when he understood that these family members are impediments to his Krishna realization, he accepted the instructions of Krishna and fought and killed them. In all cases, one should be detached from the happiness and distress of family life. So, if the family are not favorable, we may have to give them up completely, for their own benefit as well. Because if they commit offenses, it is not good for them. It's better to keep distance and don't have anything to do with them, which eventually later on, hopefully, Krishna will give them blessings and they also become devotee in some other lifetimes. So, that is the case that one should be detached from the happiness and distress of family life. Because in this world, no one can be fully happy or fully miserable. We're not looking for miseries. Happiness comes and go. We always wanted to be happy all the time, but it's not possible due to our karma, due to our previous activities. It's better to be what you call equiposed all the time. This happiness and miseries will come and go, but it's best to this what you call ultimate happiness, and that can only be found in Krishna consciousness. It says here, one should learn to tolerate. Very difficult kind of quality to attain if one is not Krishna conscious. People are very intolerant. People kill each other. If you pass by in the car, they don't like you passing them, they will go faster than you and they will shoot you. It is very intolerant. It's like in America, one of the it's considered as a sin if you jump in line in front of them. It's like queue. Of course, in India, say queue please, but no one follow the queues, right? Because everyone would like to be in the front. In America, it's still a little bit of, civilized manner. They're in queue, but if you, they'll hate you. It's considered as a sin. No one is tolerant. To be tolerant means self-discipline, self-control. It's not so easy because everyone practically is in a mode of passion and ignorance. Being tolerant means is in a mode of goodness. More tolerant than a tree. Who is that? That's the only person who can chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, devoid of sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer respect to others and not expecting any respect for himself. Everybody wants to be respected, especially those who are in the aristocratic position or those who have positions in the society. Very difficult to be tolerant in this world because you want prestige. You want some fame. So one should learn to tolerate. This is by Bhagavad Gita. One can never restrict the coming and going of happiness and distress. And so one should be detached from the materialistic way of life and be automatically equiposed in both cases. Very difficult to do. We can only do this if we understand that everything that happens in this material world is temporary. Just like the seasons, they come and go. Very soon it'll be hot. Now it's starting to be hot. So one must be tolerant to continue one's seva. Some people, they go to the Himalayas. Now, very few people you will see having darshan or coming to Vrindavan. Or even devotees themselves, they escape heat. They cannot tolerate heat. They have to go somewhere up in the mountains or the Himalayas. And just as an excuse, because they'll not be able to do. But you'll see the real tolerant devotees here. They'll still continue their service. As Prabhupada says, we have an example, just like even in the middle of Summer, those who really wants to please Krishna and cook for Krishna, because the heat multiplies so much more. Especially if you're cooking. Unbearable. How many can cook with, so many stoves, and especially if you're the only one who's cooking every day. We have Bhubaneswar doing that. I don't think he goes to the Himalayas for the summer. Or in the middle of winter, one has to continue his seva. But I've heard some devotees, they're going for book distribution. Of course, that's part of it. But mainly they want to escape a little bit because it's getting hot. That is all right, but one must be tolerant. Even in preaching, there are places where they don't treat you properly. We have experience of this also. When we go preaching, they don't know the proper etiquette because they are neophytes. So one should not say that I will not go there anymore. Forget that place. That's done for me. It's off my list. No. Actually, one should go back to that place and be more concerned how to tell them how to do properly so that they become advanced in their Krishna consciousness. If you don't go back there and everyone is not wanting to go back there, then how are they going to advance in Krishna consciousness? So in this way, one must be tolerant. A sannyasi is supposed to be like this, indifference. This is what you call tolerance also, indifference. Indifference means if somebody treats you nicely, that's fine. If somebody doesn't treat you nicely, that's fine also. I guess it'll be difficult for Grihastha to have that kind of quality of indifference. Some place they will treat you like a king, and some place they will treat you just like normal, like a cockroach. Okay, this is only we can offer you. Fine, this is what Krishna is sending. But Grihastha maybe he'll demand, no, I cannot sleep here. There is no bed. No. This is not what I eat. I eat something else. No. Usually they ask me, Maharaj, what do you want to eat? I says, it's very difficult to say because it's like, you're demanding what you eat. But sometimes you have to tell what you want to eat because for health. So one must be tolerant. It is very important. One should not be agitated if you are not be treated nicely. That is for you to become humble, to learn more. And you may say that, this is my learning experience, part of my learning experience. I have to learn how to be humble. So devotional service to Krishna without deviation means engaging oneself in 9 processes of devotional service. Real devotional service means steady. Not just today you do something and tomorrow you don't want to do it. And the next day you become very enthusiastic to do it. And then the next day, it's not like that. Devotional service means always steady and always increasing. So this process should be followed. Next. Naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he will not want to mix with materialistic men. Yeah, this is the first symptom of a person who wants to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. Asat Sangat Yaga, a Vaishnava Achara. One gives up the accompaniment or the association of non-devotees. Especially for those who are beginners, this is a must. Otherwise, you may take their association. If one is a little bit advanced and there is no escape of associating with them, you don't take their association. In the meantime, you give them your association. In family life, this is very difficult because not all the families, relatives are devotees. And in some occasions, you have to make adjustments, especially when, for example, it's like weddings. This is unavoidable if you have family or relatives that's getting married, especially in India. This is big. Sometimes a wedding takes up to 1 week long celebration. So whether you like it or not, you have to associate with materialistic relatives. That is not so easy, especially if they're so engrossed and no spiritual tinge in their life. You have to somehow still make adjustment to be with them. So if one is not so strong, okay, I have to adjust with them, then problem comes. So one should not be, should not compromise with the principles that we have. First hand, we have to tell them that this is what I am right now. I will still go in this program because I have to honor whatever is going on, but nevertheless don't expect me to be with you all the time and follow what you're doing. It's against my principles and the way of how I live these days. One may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place without unwanted association. Vrindavan is considered to be a solitary place. Because even though there is still some materialistic activities going on here, if you want to be materialistic, but nevertheless, spirituality is more prevalent in Vrindavan, so that modern day Vrindavan. So it's a little easier to be Krishna conscious than if you live in, let's say, Delhi, or Calcutta, or Mumbai, or Hyderabad, or any big cities in India. So because this is isolated in such a way, still the presence of Krishna, even if one is not a devotee, Krishna's presence can be felt, can be experienced in such a way. That's why people, when they come here and they don't know about Krishna, what is spiritual life, when they come here, they experience something so sublime that they don't find anywhere else. They've been to Rishikesh, up in the Himalayas, Haridwar, all the different yoga centers, Varanasi, the different tirthas, but when they come to Vrindavan, their experience is completely different. It's more peaceful here. You can actually feel the presence of Krishna even in the atmosphere. However, even in Vrindavan there is Maya. Maya is present here. Maya is present everywhere. This is some kind of covering in Vrindavan that if you want to not become a devotee, even if you say physically I'm in Vrindavan, but your mind wants sense enjoyment, the sense enjoyment is still available. You can just ask any rickshawala here. They'll take you to those places where they should not be in Vrindavan. That is available. So one must be very careful as well. And lastly here, there are many research scholars and philosophers who wants to study different subject matters. But according to Bhagavad Gita, such research work and philosophical speculation have no value. The only thing that has value has something to do with our eternal nature, study of the soul, self-realization, how to get out of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. We establish our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Our relationship is the most important thing to find out with Krishna. Everything else is secondary. It has no value. So we can do this. This is what we're doing here in Vrindavan and anywhere in the world where there is a Hare Krishna center. They are meant to facilitate us to revive our original Krishna consciousness. We don't have any other business here. Understand who we are and tell others also who they are. Chant Hare Krishna and tell others about Hare Krishna. Nothing different. Nothing new, nothing different. It'll be like this till the end of this world. Don't think of something else to find out. Sometimes devotees, they try to figure out, something new all the time. There is nothing new. This is the goal. To find out who we are, what is our relationship with Krishna, and to tell others as well. The same process, whatever we learned from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other scriptures. So we stop here. Hare Krishna. Any questions or any additions or comments? Yes. Where is the mic? Can you please pass the mic, please? Hare Krishna.
If somebody leaves Vrindavan, for example, his service due to his health problem in winter for 1-2 months, and summer is a peak of heat for 1-2 months, and then again come back after heat goes, winter's cold goes, he goes back to Vrindavan and continues his service.
Sure.
So Krishna will appreciate that.
That's good.
Or instead, even in spite of being sick, if somebody will continue his service and become so sick on summer or winter, so he will lie down sick and cannot do his service, what is better to do?
Practical wise, if you want to continue on for a long time, then if you are not well in certain conditions, well, if it's winter or summer, that you need to go somewhere else so that you continue your service, that is fine, that is good. But a devotee who is very attached to his or her service, in spite of one's difficulties, he will say or she will say, I will continue my service. It doesn't matter. If I die now, that's all right. That is very high. That is, most of the devotees will not be able to do like that. They don't want. Yeah, well, that's what I said.
There are some people who suffer terrible allergies.
Yes.
And they have to leave.
Yeah, because
if
you have allergy, you cannot serve Krishna.
No.
Even if you have colds.
And they will go to a place where they can do their service.
Yeah.
And they're preaching.
Yeah.
And when it's amenable, they will come back.
They will come back.
Prabhupada emphasized more than any other thing.
Health.
The first health.
Yes.
You keep your health, otherwise you can't do your service.
That's all right. That's all right.
Some people cannot tolerate the cold.
No.
So
I like cold.
Yeah, I like cold too.
I like cold better than
I like heat too. But if in the cold, if you can't tolerate the cold, it's a great time for going out on book distribution to the warmer parts of India.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no problem.
That's fine.
But it's not like, it's not, if it's for your sense gratification, that's something else. But if you simply can't continue with your service because of your health issues, then that's ridiculous. That's foolish, because there's that one verse, 420.
Matras.
You did that class that time. If you take care of your body like a well-oiled machine so that you can perform your devotional service, and you take no karma.
This is matras.
420 or 421, I'm not positive. After you gave that lecture, I signed up and made my day to have my open heart surgery. I have been avoided for 10 years,
Okay.
and my service was suffering like anything.
Yeah.
So
If you really, it's a matter of the degree of your discomfort that you have to do what you have to do. But if it's tolerable, and because the mind says do something else, then that is not as acceptable or relishable or pleasurable for Krishna, because you're still thinking for your own comforts. But so there must be some kind of a boundary where if you have to do it, then you have to do it. If there is still ways that you can tolerate and you can still continue your service in spite of difficulty, Krishna will reward you more. You see the difference? If it's not possible to continue, it's like I have a cold right now. My head is spinning. But I still have to give class. So hopefully Krishna will be happy in that way, because I'm relating to you also. But I could just say, oh no, Mother Parvati, I'm not able to give class. So
wouldn't be the first time.
it won't be the first time, because maybe I go to Rath Yatra or something. Right? So there is a borderline where it is your comfort or you have to sacrifice for the higher goal, which is like more pleasurable for Krishna. Saying, oh, see, that is my devotee, sacrificing. But sometimes it's for comforts that devotees have to go. If they,
Can I make a comment on a different subject?
Okay.
In the beginning, Prabhupada is explaining how one should have affection
Yeah.
for one's family members. So when I first joined Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada always talked about our Hare Krishna family.
Yes.
He considered us all the Hare Krishna family.
We live under one roof.
Yes. And
Families like that. We live under one roof.
Prabhupada had affection for everyone, and we had affection for each other, and it was very nice. It wasn't so institutional in those days. But that kind of mood should still be preserved. Somehow or other. Should understand. That's what Prabhupada's desire was, that it's one big Hare Krishna family. I remember even our Life Member advertisements become part of our Hare Krishna family.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
We should not be more in the rules and regulations stuff, because that impedes the love. Because if you're in the rules and regulations, I'm sorry, you don't qualify here. You know what I mean? Sometimes we write do's and don'ts, and we have to be as again, we have to know, because each and every individual is
And have feelings for
unique.
them. Feelings and sympathy and empathy.
Right.
It's not that we join and, as you say, become automatons, little robots.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have feelings for each other and
Definitely.
understand where everyone's coming from. And if they're having a bad hair day, where I'm, what to do. So I have one more comment. I have to admit that I haven't regularly read Krishna book for a long time. But what I did was, many years ago, I wrote a children's adaptation of Prabhupada's Krishna book,
Right.
which is in 4 volumes and recently got reprinted in Bombay BBT. Although I used to do it myself, so they wanted to do it. So it is available in Hindi and in English, and it's a really nice thing, even though it might not be. It's very close to Prabhupada's Krishna book. And you all of you mothers and fathers with children and your grandparents and grandmothers, and grandfathers, you can read children's Krishna book to your little ones, and you can still get some kind of benefit, and they'll get great benefit from it, and they'll become really attached, as we did when we were young and reading those kind of books. Of course, there's no substitute for us.
Yeah.
We should still read.
I suggest you also have it translated in Russian,
It was supposed to be translated in Russian. Did it ever get done?
because Russian devotees are very hungry to this.
Yeah, I was asked many years ago, did anybody ever do it?
But this adaptation
But not
for
children's Krishna
children.
book.
They like books. Children, they like books. Every time they come to the temple, they ask their parents, I want this, I want that. Even if they don't know how to read, they just want to see the pictures. And one thing I don't miss also is to listen to Prabhupada's lecture every day. That helps me a lot. To hear, even if you hear it many, many times, it's still always fresh. So it helps family also, instead of, if they're not able to explain, they can hear also Prabhupada's giving lectures. How many are listening to Prabhupada's lectures every day?
What's happening in the Brahmacharya ashram? Do they play Prabhupada lectures?
Yeah, well, I don't know what, but we're trying. It's like the other day, Prabhupada mentioned, if one does not read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam in any of our books, we will just sleep and become lazy, and it'll cause of us fall down. So we have to do that also. That's part of the
Prabhupada said, no more Haribo.
that's part of our diet. That's part of it.
Morning 1 hour Srimad Bhagavatam class, evening 1 hour Bhagavad Gita class.
Yeah, Prabhupada says that also, in all devotees should come to the morning and evening classes. It's a must. But some devotees, they don't have that much taste in hearing katha, so they go to, if they cannot be here, then they should be in the kirtan. Or one devotee, I told him, you're a new devotee, so why don't you come for the Bhagavad Gita class also in the evening? And he says, Maharaj, I study myself. I read myself. I says, it's not as good. It's not as good as when you hear.
An association.
Yes. Alone, you fall asleep also. The classes in Vrindavan is so potent. Those devotees, except myself, who gives classes here, it's like, it's amazing. You will never hear any classes like this anywhere in the world. It's so effective. It's multiplied 1,000 times anywhere, because when you hear, it's like it's Vrindavan. Yes.
One of his letters, he said, don't be better than your Guru Paramahamsa.
Yeah.
I am going every day and listening the lectures of my disciples,
Yeah.
evening and morning, and I'm enjoying by hearing how they're giving lectures. So don't be better than your Guru Paramahamsa, and come to the Bhagavad Gita classes and Srimad Bhagavatam. Follow me. Do as I am doing.
So thank you all for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Janardan Swami ki jai.